Basically, the course is a current events course. It is all focusing on globalization in the 21st century. So that is talking about politics, economics, society, culture, countries around the world, and it is in relation to current events that are taking place. And we kind of study these events in different cultural regions around the world and relate it back to the United States, how it relates to the United States.
With opening statements, direct examinations, cross-examinations, and closing statements in front of a judge. So that simulation actually occurs in the classroom environment, but we here at Mason also offer enrichment for mock trial, which is a club that meets after school and participates in state competitions where we actually do prepare a real case. Usually the cases are based on a particular case from Ohio history that was kind of controversial. They changed the names of the people, but you know, the idea and the problem is still relative usually to like a student in high school. So we've had cases with like cell phone use and GPS locating and kids in, you know, lunchrooms and things like that. So students really get engaged. They get to actually play the role of an attorney or a witness in real courtrooms in front of real judges and lawyers. It's a very authentic and true experience.
GradeCam, a new self-grading software, is used to make giving feedback easier, according to history teacher Gabe Wigington.
I talked about GradeCam. It is this new software. Students are allowed to take a test, so just like a Scantron. But when they come up to my laptop, there's this computer camera on there. And they hold it up with this, right? And they'll hold this up to the screen, and the screen will show which ones they got right or wrong immediately. So out of this test, out of 19, it'll show 16 out of 19, give them their percent, and show them which questions they got wrong and what the right answer was. Now what I'm able to do with that is while they're up here individually, I can go over which ones they missed so they know exactly what they got wrong that day, that instant. That way they're not wondering a week or two or however long it takes teachers to grade all the tests and get the information back. It's right there on the spot. And then at the end of the class, when all the students are done, it will show up here on my screen percentages of where they were at. I can break this down to the class. So I have some pretty good tests here. And then question by question, I can go through and see as a class where it gets struggled. So here's a good example with number 7. 91% of the class missed it, so maybe I have to go back there and see why they missed it. I can go over that with the class.
Mason High School's Interactive Language Lab, a gift from the Mason Schools Foundation, allows students in Debbie Perry's Spanish class to enhance their communication skills.
The fact that we can get down there and have the kids get instant feedback, walk away with an MP3 of what they said, see the growth from beginning to end. With my AP students, I've tried. It's not technologically an easy task, but I've tried to capture all their recordings from the beginning of the year to the end, and I put them on Edline so they can go and listen to their practice or how they've improved. Just from the sake of, it just sets us above. Mr. Stewart would speak more to this because he's taught the AP classes. He taught them before we had the language lab and after having the language lab, and he sees a marked improvement on speaking and presentational speaking and conversational speaking just from that language lab. That's huge, and it's not a common thing to have in schools. A lot of schools, when they do the AP test, are literally pressing on a recorder to do their speaking, where ours for all these years now have all been captured in the language lab. It's so easy, so clear.
Teacher Academy, it's a 2-year program, so you start as a junior and then it goes into your senior year as well. And it is for people that are interested in teaching or think maybe they want to be a teacher or they want to see what it's about. So you start in as a junior and you go through the foundations of education. Right, so it's all like child development, teaching, are the Ohio standards for teaching and learning. So the essays are determined by the state of Ohio, and it all goes into this portfolio that you will use to be sort of your accumulation of knowledge. So You also, senior year, go into placement. So every day, 7th bell, you go off into the classrooms in Mason schools, anywhere from preschool up through high school. And you use those experiences too to put into your portfolio. So at the end of the year, this portfolio is put together and we send it off to be graded by college professors and other educators. And then when you pass that portfolio, you can get an intro level education course at any Ohio 4-year university. So it counts for college credit. And then it's also senior year, the 2 bells are honors credit too, which is kind of nice. Sort of creates this small community. So it's different in that most of your classes, you sort of have people that come in and out, but here you are with the group of people for 2 years, so it becomes a little bit of a family.
In computer programming class, MHS students are given many opportunities to further their computer skills.
I say it's pretty unique because, like, with all their schools, I would imagine that there's not so much involvement in their computer programming class. But in this computer programming class, there's so much involvement in other activities that you can also do outside of class, and you can do internships or possibly co-ops at such an early age. Not to mention that we are a big contributor to Aaron Alliance and everything.
This course is a great opportunity for students to get access to organizations and companies who need real design work. And then also this is a great opportunity for companies and organizations who need access to real designers on a really, really limited budget. So our students are getting a lot of experience out of this, creating portfolio works that they'll be able to show off to colleges and really making contacts that will last with them as they continue on into their own professional careers.
I like the studio because I feel like I'm learning something that really applies to the rest of my life. I don't know of any other place where you can gain real-world experience working with for-profit clients to reach a higher level of branding and design quality. We've worked with anywhere from realtors to clothing companies, and I think that's pretty awesome.
I love being in the studio because of the freedom and opportunities that come out of the class. Every morning, Mr. Roberts has a short staff meeting with us, and then after that, we're on our own. I've learned a lot as the creative director. It's really given me a lot of leadership, and I feel like I've gained some really amazing job experience. Working for real companies has excelled my real-world skills. Joining the studio really has made a difference in my high school career, and it's probably the best thing I've ever done.
Mr. Connor and myself came up with this idea probably about 5 years ago, and to actually see it come to fruition this past year. What's unique about this class is the fact that we get to do a lot of creative outlets as far as work products that our students get to be able to produce, and they get to see online, and it affects their learning, and they get to use their creativity, and we also get to change with the times. I mean, nothing's really set in the class as far as we get to go with the fluidity of technology, and so as things change, our class can change kind of dynamically to kind of meet the students' needs, and we've got to see firsthand this year, some of the great work that our students are able to do because they're given opportunity and freedom to kind of work on some projects that are of interest to them.
Yeah, I think the thing that has really been unique for Mr. Mernan and I is we've always worked in a very similar field. Mr. Mernan for years was in charge of all the web products here at the high school, with athletics, with school district communications, as well as creative outlets for the students on the web. I was teaching print journalism and broadcast journalism, and as everybody knows, the communication industry is merging together all those aspects. Plus, we came to the realization that our students want to get real-world experience, and what's happening in schools is we're teaching them a lot of skills and a lot of information, and then they have all these skills and this information and they don't know where to use it. And I think that's a strength of our high school in general, because we have other programs that are doing that as well. But Mr. Mernan and I realized that we've got kids that can produce, we got kids that can write, we got kids that can program, we got kids that can design. Let's put them to work doing things they enjoy doing.